We've known for a long time Dr. Fauci is out, replaced by Scott Atlas as the doctor who has Donald Trump's ear. A doctor who, of course, has no training in fighting a viral infection, which is appropriate because he has no intention to. That'll be demonstrated quite well in this clip. I want you to take a look at this, where Scott Atlas is talking about how exactly people should approach Thanksgiving gatherings in a time of a COVID pandemic.
And this kind of isolation is one of the unspoken tragedies of the elderly, who are now being told, don't see your family at Thanksgiving. For many people, this is their final Thanksgiving, believe it or not. What are we doing here? I think we have to have a policy, which I have been advocating, which is a whole person, whole health policy. It's not about just stopping cases of COVID. We have to talk about the damage of the policy itself.
Okay, yeah, so as he points out, this will be some people's last Thanksgiving, and if he has anything to say about it, that number will be as high as possible. People who won't experience another Thanksgiving might not even make it to the new year if they follow his strategy, which is don't listen to any of this advice. Pack as many people in as possible around the Thanksgiving dinner table. Maybe lick a roll and pass it to your cousin and just see what happens. It'll be fun, Jason. Holidays, pretending that the pandemic doesn't exist.
Much like the rest of the country during the holidays shuts down, COVID takes a break as well. Just kidding. Rise up. What does that even mean? You need to rise up. Rise up and do what? End up on the ventilator? No, I'll pass on that. I think, look, he does have a point. For some, it is sad, John, that people that are elderly or people who have been in the hospital or they're away from their families due to COVID aren't able to be together for the holidays. That's a grim reality for a lot of Americans, and it sucks. 2020 has shown us that things can really suck, right? However, on the other side of the coin is I would rather, and I'm sure a lot of Americans would rather have FaceTime or do whatever. There's technology, there's ways to still be connected with loved ones in this time without physically being there. And I'm sure those people would love to have their loved ones still alive to possibly be around for the new year and to be around for another Thanksgiving. So him recommending that's irresponsible, and I'm glad, or at least I would hope, that people are like smart enough and have been proselytized enough to know how to protect themselves from COVID, that they can sit this one out at least for this year, at least for this time, or find a better way to celebrate the holidays that keeps everyone safe, that keeps everyone healthy. And you said this guy has Trump's ear, of course, and Trump's whole thing was he wanted to reopen the economy weeks before it was even safe to do that. I'm sure somewhere in his mind he still thinks that COVID is something that we can all manage, irresponsibly, even though we know that that's not the case. So I mean, again, it doesn't make any sense, but people are smart enough to know that, hey, let's sit this one out for 2020 and we'll revisit Thanksgiving in 2021.
I hope so, and some people certainly will be. I mean, we got a super chat earlier in the show from a viewer said that they were not going to be doing an in-person thing. And look, I would love to Thanksgiving or Christmas. I used to do Thanksgiving near Kansas City with my friend every year. We'd go and we'd have days of just gorging, and then on Christmas I'd go and I'd spend it with my mom, and it was great to actually see family. But I don't want to kill my family. Right. I also don't want to be killed by them. But that is what's going to happen. Many people will heed the advice of experts, but many people will not. Millions and millions of people are gonna have in-person packed, no socially distancing, no mask Thanksgivings. And the only question is, how many people get sick as a result? How many people die? How many people die knowing what's going to happen, knowing that we only have to wait a little bit longer to get the vaccine, but they're gonna do it. And as difficult in a vacuum as it might be to deal with this isolation and to deal with the lockdowns, which they keep talking about lockdowns, there's effectively like no lockdowns anyway, or anywhere. You also have all these people who they just watch TV, and all day it's people they respect, rich people in suits telling them that it's perfectly safe. And Fox News brings on this guy who's like technically a doctor, but in a way that has literally nothing to do with this pandemic. And they present him as an expert. And they are doing such a disservice to their audience. Pointing out that Fox is trying to kill their audience seems kind of pointless and cliche at this point, but they're still doing it month after month. And that wasn't Laura Ingraham who's introing Scott Atlas. That wasn't Sean Hannity. That was, I believe, Martha McCallum, right? That's one of their straight news people that brings on this guy who was only brought into the administration to be given a position where he seems to be an authority because of his appearances on Fox News. It's that weird chicken and the egg thing. And a guy who's been brought in to pretend that the whole body thing, which is just don't worry about the pandemic, the herd immunity thing, that's what he's here to do. He's here to put a doctor's face on surrender to the pandemic. And Donald Trump is all in. He has long surrendered. They're just trying to get as many of Trump's followers to surrender as well. And unfortunately, it is going to wreak havoc on people's health, and many will die as a result of it.
Well, you know what? To that point, though, John, one, Fox News bringing someone on like this is irresponsible. But two, when we early in the pandemic, when we talked about COVID, it's up to us though. We cannot allow ourselves to be victims of this. We have to know better. If people, you can't feel bad for people who are watching these outlets, John, and don't have the wherewithal or the smarts or the mental faculties themselves to make a decision that's educated for themselves. Like, I'm not gonna go and watch, I'm in Maddow and her say, oh, it's okay to go and hang out in South Beach, Miami around a bunch of people when there's a pandemic. No, Rachel, it's not. Because I'm smart enough to know that, hey, okay, you're one source, but let me take things further. And if people aren't smart enough to do the work themselves, then that's also on them as well. I mean, yeah, sure, Fox News is being irresponsible. I think now, especially as late as we are in the game in 2020 in regards to COVID, what, 8-7 months into this, if you don't, where have you been? Where have you been if you don't know better by now? And when you know better, you do better. So obviously you do not want to do better. So it's also on these people as well. And again, Thanksgiving is as American as football. It's the food, the togetherness, the community. I get it. Isolation sucks, but being alive is a hell of a lot better than not.
Yeah. And being alive and having been responsible is a lot better than being alive but knowing that you gave one of your relatives COVID and they died as a result. I mean, that's sort of the unspoken thing. Many people will be lucky enough to not know that they were responsible for other people dying in this pandemic, but some will know. They'll know that they're the person that gave it to them, and they'll have to live with the knowledge that because of either best case scenario, their ignorance, they ended up spreading it to someone. And some of it, again, this pandemic was always going to kill a good number of people. Some of it couldn't be avoided, but much of this is totally optional. These are not people that, because the government decided that we're not giving aid to people, they're forced to go work. That is one thing. This is people going on TV to tell people, yeah, go to a party, go have fun, go needlessly expose yourself to this thing. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.